everybody. This is Glenda with Fralins and Friends Crafts Plus, as always. And I am going to apologize ahead of time because I don't always have this in completely in screen. I'll have it partially in screen. And I've got an easel and forgot to put it on the easel and use it. So here goes. I did start over. I painted out the grass. I painted out all that and just put new waterfalls with pools. And because it didn't, I had it messy. It just was so messy. So there's a lot of things to think about with this. And it's like two verses in the Bible that refer to this area, this Elim. It's an oasis. Must be a huge oasis. And they've been in the desert for a while and they come up on this gorgeous, completely fulfilling oasis. And the Bible is very specific on the numbers of springs and trees. Now, I think I might have an idea of what the 12 springs represent, because there are 12 tribes in Israel, or will be when they get settled. But there are 12 tribes. And how it's specifically 70 palm trees. That I can't account for because the population is well over 600,000, and that was just the men. And there's all the kids and the women and those that had changed to the Jewish religion. It was, I don't know if I remember reading it, but I don't know if you remember hearing it. But there was right before the Passover or whatever, God told them through Moses and then Aaron that if their servants or slaves or whatever wanted to be with them and were willing to be circumcised, then that was okay. They could do that. And I don't believe that God created Israel in order to cut out the rest of humanity or the other or the other nationalities at that time. He did, however, have them, this will come up later, he did, however, have them stay away from certain ones. And that was because of their tendency towards idol worship. And the Israelites had lived in Egypt, where idol worship was just, everything was idol worship, except with the Hebrews. So this is just a lot that they have gone through. And now they come on this beautiful oasis. And it's got to be a miracle that it's there, especially with these specific numbers. That's just me. And especially at the time that it happens. He sweetened the water. He called the plagues down on Egypt, but never did the Israelites have to suffer from them. He parted the waters of the Red Sea, and they were able to walk on dry land. And then when the Egyptians came after them, The Pharaoh and all of his best chariots and best soldiers, and even those who weren't the best, were following him across the Red Sea. He drowned them. He let the water go back over him and drowned them. And they were completely free then. But they were not strong and they were not listening when they were told. They were so used to, they didn't realize how used to being taken care of by the Egyptians they were. And because slaves can't work if they're not cared for, right? So anyway, so it's very tempting for them. So here God brings this oasis. Now I could be interpreting this all wrong, but I don't think so. God brings this oasis into their midst. And he told them after, or when they were just done with Mara, through Moses and Aaron, he told them they need to listen, they need to learn. And they still don't get it. It's going to take a while for the Israelites to learn. But the first thing they're doing is they're heading away from the land of Canaan. Why? Well, because they've got to return to Sinai, to the Mount Sinai, and because they don't have the wherewithal, the training, or the ability to take on the Canaanites and all of those other they're not nationalities, other people that have populated the land promised to Abraham for his descendants. Anyway, so here we are in this wonderful, I'm painting in some tents right now, by the way. They do not look like tents at all. I was trying. Give me that. I was trying. But do we do the same thing every day? I mean, Jesus walked this earth and he did miracle upon miracle upon miracle, healing people, disappearing from the temple twice when they tried to capture him. But when it was time, he stayed where they could capture him. That's a little aside, I guess. But the thing of it is, he did miracle after miracle. And still, they questioned him. Still, they did not believe. They thought he was using the devil's power at one time. They tried to, and it's like, okay, that don't make any sense, because the devil wouldn't do this kind of good stuff. But here we are today, and all we do is see our trouble and, well, why doesn't God take care of this? Why doesn't God take care of that? Well, it's like the Israelites. He gave them minds. He gave them hands. He gave them all of these things and abilities, just like he has all mankind. They need to learn to use them. But to learn to use them, they also need to learn to listen and apply the knowledge that they're given. So God is taking very good care of them right now. They may not always realize it. In fact, they don't, because they grumble a lot. But I'm finally trying to get that thing in frame, and I'm still not making it. It's so hard for me to see when I'm looking, when I have that thing turned down. It's hard for me to see. I have to dip my head clear down to see if it's in camera. And then if I move it so that I can work on it, I just mess it all up. But I think you've been able to see most of what I did. And besides the tents, well, it's not too bad. But I just think we should praise God for the miracles of the past and present and future. Because I was just reading, or well, I've been memorizing a lot of verses, but in Revelations 1:4, it talks about he who is, who was, and who is to come. Well, so much for being preachy. I dubbed it because, well, Joe and I got into a conversation while I was painting. But I did want to emphasize a few things, and I think I've done that. I'm not going to go any farther. But I have had a wonderful time with this one, and we're going to be starting chapter 16, Exodus 16, for the next one. So this this is the this is Elim. This is the Oasis. And I'm wondering if we have an oasis in our own homes. You know, they talk about prayer closets or that that peaceful place that you go, you sit, and mine is my porch swing. We all know that. Because I'm a lot of times out there doing a porch swing chat. But I love talking to you guys, and I please talk back in the comments. Say if you've noticed something that I missed. I love that. So I love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care and smile and wave. Good night.